Disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only and does not replace medical advice from your healthcare provider. If you have questions about your health or are considering any lifestyle changes, please consult a healthcare professional for a personal assessment. Walk with a Doc is not responsible for any injury or loss resulting from use of the information in this video.
Today, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I wanted to talk a little bit about gratitude. Gratitude is so important for our physical and our mental health, and I think a lot of people don't know how easy it is to get those benefits, and so I thought this would be a good month to talk about that. Gratitude, in essence, what it does is it combats this thing that we already have, which is the negativity bias. Negativity bias is something that we inherently have as human beings, and that means that we are more likely to notice the negative. And so if you think about it, when we're driving on the freeway, if somebody cuts us off or doesn't let us in the lane, we'll remember that more than we remembered maybe the people that let us in, right? Or if we got bad news or we got a bad phone call, we tend to remember that more than the good things that happened in our day. But what we know is that having that negativity, although it's a survival mechanism, because if you think about it, when we were cavemen and cavewomen, when we came out of the cave, if we saw a bush moving, if we thought, oh, I wonder what's in there, maybe a cute little squirrel or a bird or something like that, and we went to see what was in that bush, we might get attacked, right? It could have been a predator. So if we had more negative thinking, so if we were thinking more like that could be a lion or that could be some sort of predator hiding in the bushes, then we would likely get away from that bush and save our life. So evolutionarily, it's a safety mechanism, right? Nowadays, we can think about it when we cross the street, for example. If we're crossing the street and we look and we see that some cars are coming, and we say, oh, they're probably gonna see me, I'm gonna go ahead and cross the street anyway, we might be in more danger because somebody could be distracted, somebody could be on their phone, somebody could be not paying attention. But when we say, well, they might not be paying attention, I better wait for the cars to go through, it's more of a negative thinking, like I don't know if they're gonna see me, right? But it's gonna keep us safer. So evolutionarily, our negativity bias is helpful in that way. But what we know now is that having more of that negative thinking isn't always as helpful for us as far as our mental health and our physical health. And it can lead us to us being more irritable, more impulsive, and long-term experiencing this negativity bias and being more on the negative side of our thoughts can lead to more depression symptoms, anxiety, things like that. So here comes gratitude. Gratitude is like the antidote to negativity bias. It's the way that we can start thinking more about the positive things that are happening in our life. It can be things like, if you went to the store and somebody smiled at you and it made you feel good, or maybe you were coming out of your car and a kitty cat came to say hi, right? Or cuddling up with your dog, or a special somebody calling you just to say hello. And so when we engage in that gratitude, what we're doing is we're noticing more of the positive. And as we notice more of the positive, we're starting to change the way that our brain sends messages. What we do often is what our brain gets used to. So if we're often thinking about the negative things, our brain gets used to thinking about the negative things. But if we start noticing more of the positive things, our brain also starts to notice more of the positive things. And in that way, we can balance those thoughts out. When we have more of that positive thinking, which is a different side of the brain altogether, when we have more of that positive thinking, our health improves because our stress levels go down, our immune system works better, our mental health improves because we have less symptoms of anxiety or depression or stress, and so it's a win-win all around. Now, we can do gratitude in many ways. One easy way that I've found and kind of fulfilling way that I've found is to think of 3 good things that happened at the end of the night. So at the end of the night, we write down 3 good things that happened that day, something that happened specifically that day, not necessarily something big like I have a roof over my head or I have food on the table, because those things happen all the time, but something that was specific to that day. Maybe you were in the drive-thru at Starbucks and somebody paid for your coffee ahead of you. Maybe you got a little note from one of your kids or a grandkid, right? Just a little something special. You went to work and somebody was excited to see you. You know, something that happened that day. And what happens when we do that at night too is that our body, as we're going to sleep, and our brain is thinking more of the positive things, and your body's more relaxed. It also helps you to sleep better. So there's a lot of benefits with gratitude. And today, I just want to express my gratitude to you guys for being here on a cold, early morning to go for a walk.
Thanks for watching. Visit our website to learn how you can join the walk with the dock movement. But first, take a step toward better health and head outside for a walk.